terrible scenes here in Copenhagen. Good morning guys from beautiful Copenhagen. I'm currently stood at one of the most photographed spots in all of Europe. Join me for a city tour today and we'll wander around this tremendous city. Let's go. Get all your souvenirs and your memorabilia here. Oh, the classic. What do you reckon? Does it suit me? There's a shot glasses and cups, flags, Danish football kits. By the canal side here, you can see all the tourists getting off the canal boat there. You can do the canal tours up and down and around the city of Copenhagen for a small charge. You can see how busy it is with tourists here in Copenhagen. We're in one of the main squares here. A lot of the tourist attractions are kind of centered around this spot. The size of that anchor. Of course, Denmark enjoys a rich maritime history, going way back to the Vikings and then right through into the 17th, 18th century. The first thing to mention about Copenhagen is the beauty of the city and the architecture here. Absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that example of the architecture here. Tremendous. I believe this to be the Royal Danish Theatre. You see the paintwork within the domes there. Absolutely beautiful. Ludwig Holberg. There's certainly some major differences between Copenhagen and the cities that I visited within the UK. Firstly, the streets are spotlessly clean. Everything's ran so efficiently. Overall, the crime rates are very low. Yes, there is those areas that we have visited and they're fairly bad. Nobody can deny that. However, all big cities have an underbelly, and it seems that those areas of Copenhagen are very segregated and kept away from the major crowds and the major city. Everything runs like a fine Swiss watch. Tired of endless work? It's time to take a break in Hero Wars.
Hero Wars, Hero Wars.
Every day I am playing.
Feel stress, Hero Wars.
Chaos, Hero Wars. Screw them all, I am slaying.
Feel stress, Hero Wars. Need rest, Hero Wars.
Screw them all, I am slaying. Hero Wars, Hero Wars. Hero Wars.
I highly recommend giving it a try. A lot of the main Copenhagen city was developed in the 19th and 20th century with these big, grand buildings. At every turn, the buildings in Copenhagen are amazing. The city streets are absolutely spotless. The efficiency of Danish culture is incredible. Crossing one of the pedestrian crossings here. It very much reminds me of Eastern Europe actually. However, the Scandinavian efficiency is on full display within Copenhagen city. Everything runs so smoothly, from the public transport to the pedestrian crossings to even the traffic system here. Everybody seems to drive very, very calmly, very safely. Overall, one of my favourite cities I've ever visited. If anybody knows what that sculpture is, please let me know in the comments. Seems to be a man of war on his horse. Let me give you a little 360 of this main area of Copenhagen. Very much reminds me of Krakow in Poland. The architecture and the many squares that Copenhagen is set around. can see the coaches arriving for the day, full of the tourists. The Danish people are a very, very proud bunch, very proud of their history, as they should be. It says Hotel d'Angleterre. I wonder if that means Hotel English or English Hotel. Again, I have no concept of Danish. That is actually something I've struggled with slightly on my visit to Copenhagen, was just trying to get familiar with the alphabets and how the words are set out. I mean, I just couldn't make any sense of anything. My first trips on the metro system are going to be fun. You can see the beautiful canal side over on that way. Right in the centre of Copenhagen here. Beautiful bar here, sat in one of the many squares. You can see the hundreds and hundreds of bikes here in Copenhagen. I can almost guarantee you not one of them is locked. I think bike theft here in Copenhagen is non-existent. Overall, a very, very safe city. There is a number of spots that are outside of the city that tourists don't tend to go to that are slightly troubled, shall we say. But on the whole, Copenhagen as a city is extremely safe. So I've just been wandering the back streets here of Copenhagen and I've come across one of the most beautiful buildings. Check this out. Literally at any turn within the city, you can be greeted by the most tremendous architecture. You can see the cobbled back streets of Copenhagen here, spotlessly clean. Nobody parked halfway across the road. No mattresses on the street. Piles of rubbish. What a stark contrast to the UK. I recently found Hero Wars whilst looking for a game to download before travelling, and let me tell you, this game helps me to take a break.
Hero Wars!
In Hero Wars, you can raid bosses with friends or guildmates, strategise on the go, and engage in PvP battles for the top spot on the leaderboard. The game offers 6 awesome modes, from a single-player story mode campaign and Titan battles, which is my favourite, to exciting expeditions and a roguelike tower. I won't spoil the rest. You can assemble heroes into teams to find the best matchups, join over 100 million players worldwide, and join a community where you can learn tips and strategies from veterans of the game. Old school gamers should check out the browser version, while mobile users can easily enjoy it on any device. Scan this QR code or download the game from the link below the video and take a break with Hero Wars. Honestly, my time in Copenhagen has been a bit of an eye-opener actually. What I found from my time in Copenhagen is the UK is really struggling at the moment. You've seen from our recent videos what we've been finding. Now we're in a major European city here, the streets are spotlessly clean. Overall, the crime rates are fairly low. It's a real stark contrast actually to visiting a UK city. But I've also found there to be some very stark social differences between the Brits and the Danish. Firstly, how can I put it? The Danish are not exactly the greatest conversationists. They're not the chattiest of people in the world. Trying to strike a conversation up with a Danish person is like trying to draw blood from a stone. Impossible. And before you all say, oh, it's because you had the camera, no, even without the camera, I could not get any sort of conversation, any sort of interaction with barely anybody, other than in Christiania, actually. The people there were very, very friendly, however, quite cautious of the camera. A really lovely place within Copenhagen, quite the opposite to the anarchist reputation the place has.
Residents of Copenhagen's so-called free town of Christiania have demolished stalls selling cannabis. It comes 2 days after a shooting in which 2 police officers and a civilian were injured during an attempt to arrest a drug dealer in the Danish capital. 1 policeman is still in a serious condition. Speaking for the residents of Christiania, Rizenga Mangezi explained that they wanted to remove the stalls and very strongly condemn the serious violence that has become a reality in Pusher Street. And he added they wanted to send their thoughts to the policeman and his family.
Og så indtil videre, så kan vi sende vores tanker til den politimand og hans familie.
Residents of the self-proclaimed autonomous neighborhood set up in 1971 by hippies fear their liberal drugs culture has been overrun by organized crime gangs.
the main Tivoli Gardens building there. Let's see if we can get in. Unfortunately, the Tivoli Gardens is closed. That is unfortunate. However, I did want to tell you that the Tivoli Gardens is actually the world's second oldest amusement park, opening its doors in 1843 and is still open today. Insane. You can see it all unfolding here in front of you. One of the oldest, most historic buildings in the whole of Denmark, destroyed by a catastrophic fire. Don't think the camera will pick it up, but just there, that was the old spire that collapsed about an hour or so ago. It's terrible. 5 years exactly to the day that Notre Dame in Paris burnt down. Very coincidental. You can see there the cherry pickers trying to get above the building to put out the flames. Terrible scenes here in Copenhagen. I hope nobody was injured during the fire. Hundreds of emergency services personnel here. You can see the smoke rising into the air. There's a thick fog covering Copenhagen now. Just think of all of the history that that building contained. What a shame. You can see the fire department's hose linked up to the water hydrant there, feeding across the road to try and battle the flames that are currently ongoing. I truly hope nobody was hurt. Genuinely, there's a real fog in the air now. The air is thick with smoke. I'm having to back away from the area now. There's another cordoned off. They're removing people from being that close. So maybe there's something burning that they don't want going up into the atmosphere, who knows. You can see more army or police there blocking the road, stopping people getting up close. I've just been told to get back towards this area now. As you can see, the air is really thick with smoke. It's the day after the fire here in Copenhagen. You can see all the emergency services still here. You can see the wreck of the building ahead of me. Really sad scenes. I still don't know if anyone was injured during the fire. I truly hope that nobody was hurt. You can see the fire department down there, still all closed off. You can just see the wreck there. It was totally ablaze last night. The whole city was covered in a thick smog of smoke. Literally choking it was. There it is, guys. There you can see the bones of the old building. Totally destroyed. You can see it all there crumbling. Hopefully it doesn't collapse further, but I'm assuming they will have to demolish it. I don't think there's any saving that. You can see all the crowds gathering here to look. There's still tons of police and army personnel on the streets here of Copenhagen, making sure that that enclosed area around the building is kept secure. Last night there was hundreds of people watching the flames and watching the disaster unfold. It was a real shocking sight, to be honest. 5 years exactly to the day that Notre Dame burnt down in Paris as well. It's very strange, isn't it? You can see the police personnel there, keeping the area cordoned off. So I've managed to get slightly closer to the building. You can just see where the spire once was. It's all toppled over. And that right hand side of the building is just totally wrecked. Thick with black soot. Everything is wrecked. No longer got a roof. right in the heart of Copenhagen. Massive thanks to Hero Wars for sponsoring today's video. Remember guys, check out the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen now. Take a break, check out Hero Wars today.